Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly Sunday live. It's our Q&A. Where's my phone? Oh, it's over there. Okay. I was thinking about going live on Insta, but it's just too much. And I'm just starting out. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for watching. So today is our weekly Q&A. So on Sundays, I'm starting a new thing where at 8 p.m. I go live. It's going to be, I call it office hours because, this channel is about leadership and being a manager and a leader or a supervisor, whatever. And it's always good to have an opportunity for your team members to be able to pop in or visit with you. So office hours, it's a little cheeky, but that's what it is. So if you're here, put in the chat where you're from, where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, comment replay. So this is where I gather all your questions and just go back and answer them. So I did put a poll up on my Instagram and asked a few questions, as well as sent some emails out asking for a few questions. So this is new. So I hadn't gotten a ton of inquiries, but I did want to share for future how you could submit questions to me, and then I'll answer some common questions that have come up for me this week as a leader. So let's get to it. The one thing I'm going to do is I did want to share that I'm probably going to get some sort of streaming software. I'm thinking about using StreamYard, but it tends to have glitches. And so I'm just like, I'm not sure. I'm checking it out. But what that would allow me to do is be able to share my screen with you and like share presentations or give you tutorials about my website. So we'll have that next time as more people start to join the lives. So an email I sent to my email community this week, we talked about how I have a brand new free membership. So on my website, I have like a behind the scenes portal where you log into it. It's free. And I have organized all of my best content in one place. So my most requested links, my most requested videos, things that people are always asking me about, like how to lead your teams, how to lead your team, how to get yourself organized, and let's see, what was the other one? Here, let me log on to my website. And these lives are just like chill, so it's not as like polished as an actual video, which I'm actually super cool with. So let's check that out. Okay, so so organize your work, lead your team, and elevate your mindset are the three areas. So if you're watching this and you're interested, I'll put a link in my bio or the description to the membership page, but I'll also put it in the chat. So it's just, let me just copy it for you. It's just kfaconsulting.org/membership. /free members club is the landing page. So you can read all about that. And it gives you like a little synopsis on that front page about what it's about. But essentially, so I have it organized by those three categories, the mindset, organizing, and leading your teams. And then I have, anytime I've done a like free mini course, I have that linked there. So I've done like the 5 days of leadership. I did the 12 days of leadership, or the 5 days of the leader mindset and the 12 days of leadership. So I linked them there. And then I'm going to be updating the site monthly with some of those mini lessons, so you can find those easily. The other cool thing that I have on that site is the submission form for the Q&A. So if you have a question, you can just go in there, and it's really cool. The question, you fill out the little box and the question gets emailed to me. So then I can easily just gather those. And if you're on the, if you send me a question, I'll guarantee that I can answer it on the live. If I start to get too many questions and you're just asking them on the live, it's not a guarantee that I'll get to that, but I would try to super hard. So the other cool thing about the free membership is that it's all Italy themed. So I've been in Italy twice with my hubby, and then once, twice with my hubby, and once is including with his family, and that was really fun. And then we just did us one of the times, and it's like my love language. I love it. I love the wine, the carbonara, the gelato, the history, just the sights, the weather, like the dress, the fashion, all of it. And so I really wanted to make the free membership sort of the back end is themed like Italy. So there's pictures of our trips. I have a picture of me drinking wine. I have a picture with me next to a mural or like kind of like some wall art that I thought was really cool. So I just thought it was like a fun spin on, just to make it like a good time, just a little bit of Kayla in the back. So that is kind of where you can submit your questions. Also, if you join my email list, you can just straight up email me back. Any of the emails I send, you can reply with a question. All right. So, for this live, I think I'll go ahead and share on a couple topics. One of them, this past week's topics was all about the idea of making meaningful connections at work because it benefits us, because most of our time we spend is at work. And there's a Harvard study that shows that happiness comes from meaningful, deep connections and relationships. So if we have to be at work, we might as well forge meaningful connections with people that we like to be around. Otherwise, it can be miserable. And I think that there's often like a saying that people leave work because of their leaders or managers. And so I'd say, as a leader or manager, don't let that be you. Go forge really meaningful, true, curious relationships with people. Be actually interested in them. And also find a peer group at work that lights you up, that gives you good connection, that has your back, that you can go vent to, so you're not venting to your boss, so you can have those meaningful connections too. So go back and check out that video from this week. It was just an interesting way to think about like the study on happiness and how we can relate it to our work. All right. The second thing I want to talk about is how we as leaders can sort of lead ourselves into a place of burnout, and it's all on us. Okay. So I've been seeing a lot of leadership coaches talk about burnout, and I've been talking about burnout forever. If you've watched this channel, or if you've listened to my podcast before I had the YouTube channel, talked about burnout so much because I felt like I burned out really quickly and then was like, there's a different way to do this. There has to be a different way. So one reason why I feel like I burned out quickly is because I was seeing other people working in a certain way, which made me think I had to work in a certain way. And then I realized I actually don't have to do that at all. So there was a story of another career coach who was talking with one of her clients. And so the person was working like 70-hour weeks. They're an executive leader, 70-hour weeks, had a to-do list like 5 pages long. This person would have their laptop and their phone checking their email on vacation, or they felt like they couldn't go on vacation. This person also had like injured their ankle and didn't have time to schedule the surgery because they didn't know when they could do it because of their work schedule. And then it was kind of like an ongoing problem for them, because then it was like the chicken or the egg. Like, okay, if I did schedule the surgery, like who would do my work when I'm gone? Like it's like, oh, I can never have any time off, right? So this is what I've been talking about forever, ever. And so one of the reasons that I teach on leadership and that I love being here is because of the idea that we think that we have to do so much more than we actually have to do. And our bar for ourselves is so, so, so high. And I would say, as leaders, we often have high expectations of the people that we lead, but I don't actually think we even have as high of expectations as we have for ourselves. So we end up kind of setting ourselves up for failure. So this person who had been working like this 70 hours a week, burnt out, what were they doing differently? And essentially, one of the biggest questions that this person was told to ask themselves is, what are the things on the to-do list that only you can do? And those are the things that you should be doing. Everything else should be something your team is doing. So I see this a ton with leaders, especially managers or I'll see it with managers, I'll see it with supervisors, where we will be like, oh, I want to help my team, or I don't want to put too much on them, so I'm just going to do the thing. And it gets so easy to be like, well, I can take care of that. I can add that to my list, because you know that you'll find time, or you'll figure it out, or you'll just do it. And then all of a sudden your list is super long and you're like, I am doing more than I am leading. So that is the real problem, is your role as a supervisor, manager, director, executive leader is to be leading more than doing. Because if you're doing, then you're not leading anyone. So part of our role as leaders is to coach people to solve their own problems, to help remove barriers for them when they have an issue and can't move forward, to coach them on different approaches that they could take, help them with their mindset. Like, here's how I might think about this, or here's kind of the approach you should use, to be a connector, to get people connected with other stakeholders, to share and communicate vision so that people know, like, this is the direction we're going. None of that includes like small tedious tasks or crazy little emails or creating spreadsheets and all that. Those are things we can do, but we have to ask the question, should we be the ones doing it? And sometimes the answer is yes, or like, I don't know what this data is yet, so I want to do the first spreadsheet. Great. Do the first time, then teach and cultivate and grow, help someone else grow by having them do that role task. If that is really truly something that not only you can do. So only the things that you can do should be the things that you should do. It's like a Dr. Seuss tongue tie there. So when you flip this mindset, when you think about like, what is it that only I can do, that really shows like, oh my gosh, what is the real value that I could be bringing if I were able to do those things, right? The person who you're asking to do those other items, that's when you have to get really clear and say, okay, truly, should they be doing that? Is that something we even need to be doing? Because if we have piled on other work to our leaders, then they're like overwhelmed too. So this helps us be more discerning with what's truly important and needed. Because if they come to you and say, leader, I have too much to do, which of these things should I not be doing? You should be prepared to say, don't be doing X, Y, Z, or, oh, I didn't know you were doing that. Like, that's not important. Or this is like top priority for me right now. So this week, I want to challenge you to look at your to-do list. How long is it? If it is like 5 pages, then there's something going on there. And that's where you need to think of, what is it that only I can be doing, that I should be doing in my role? And then everything else, we need to really look at it with some discernment and say, do we really need to do this, or do we not? If we really do, who is the right person to do that work? And that's how this lady who was being coached by someone else ended up cutting her work weeks down to 40 up to 50 hours a week. She admitted she was still working a bit more, but substantially less than 70 hours a week, right? She was actually on vacation while she was talking to her mentor. So she was like, got away for vacation. She was almost ready to schedule that surgery for her ankle or whatever she had broken. And while she was on vacation, she did not check email, but she did attend one meeting to help one of her people. So it's a process, right? We're not going to be like perfectly aligned and like, I don't do any of that, you do this, like, right away. Nor should I feel like it should be like super, super black and white. There are times as managers, supervisors, directors that you get in the weeds because you need to be there. But then at some point you have to pop out because you're not doing a service to other people by doing their work for them. Especially if later you're going to say, I need you to do X, Y, Z, because they're going to be like, I don't get it. Like, I thought that's something that you do, right? You want to help them grow. And then you want to be available for the organization, for the greater vision or whatever your actual role is, so that you can do a really good job with that. So the other question I get so much is, how do I stay so organized? How do I keep those to-dos in order? How do I check in on if I'm doing the right things? And how do I sort of maintain this system once I set it up? So, well, I guess working backwards, the first thing I would say is you need a system. You need some sort of how to keep your to-do list in check. You need somewhere to like categorize things. So for me, I like to have a longer to-do list that I can pull from, and things that sit on there for a long time aren't important. So I might have like a brain dump. Not everything is to do on a to-do item, but I might just have a brain dump of things I would like to get to or like to delegate. And then every day I pull 2 or 3 over to my day. So I keep like a planner, I keep my leader standard workbook with me. I have like 2 or 3 things that I want to do for the day. And so those top priority things from my to-do list or my brain dump come over to my daily task list, and I schedule those on my calendar. So if you were to look at my work calendar right now, you would see that I have like a time block for working on each of those tasks, or I have what's called focus time, where people know like that I'm doing deep work and I'm doing the tasks on my daily paper, like in the focus area. So that is how I manage and keep track of those. And then I also have what's called a Kanban board. So it's basically like a big project list. I have a paper one, but I also love using Microsoft Teams to create a Kanban board where I'll have like I have like new to categorize, planning, doing next, like on deck, doing now, implementing to sustain, and then done, I think are my categories. And then I have like a Kanban card or just like a box with a project in it. And what I actually am doing right now with one of my bigger teams with that has multiple leaders, I'm like, hey, what are our top 5 projects that we want to do from now to the end of the year? And that might even be too many. Like 5 might even be way too many. But sort of asking them to help me prioritize what they think we or I should be prioritizing for us. Because right now I'm unsure. In my mind, I'm like, these are the ones I think are important. And as I've started to socialize that with teams, I'm getting the vibe like, yes to these ones, maybe not to these ones. And so I'm like, okay, you tell me, help me out. What do you think? What's your perception with the front line? And then ultimately I'll make that decision based on what I know as well. So that's how I like to check in on that system are the daily tasks that I'm pulling over to my daily to-do list supporting those high-level buckets of projects. And then those projects are usually some sort of goal that I have. So in any organization, you have to have organizational goals or professional goals. And for me, we have 5 different areas where we can have goals. So like quality and safety, customer experience, people engagement, research and education, and then what did I miss? Customer experience, quality, efficiency. And so I might say, okay, one of my goals for quality and safety is to do this project that is going to improve the safety of XYZ thing, right? And so if that goal is implementing that project or that getting that project off the ground, then I know that a focus needs to be moving that goal forward. And then any tasks that I'm doing on a daily and weekly basis need to move that goal forward. So that's really how I think about it. I'm super practical about it. Does that mean that other little tasks might not get done or might not take priority, or the email inbox takes a bit longer to get back because I'm focusing on those projects? Yeah, totally. And at the end of the year, what am I being evaluated on for my raise or my pay? The goals, right? Not like how quickly I got back to email. There is like a functional, forget what it's called, excellence, or like how well I do my job on a day in and day out. But I think I rank high on that because I'm like prioritizing my to-do list, my projects, I'm meeting with my team, I am organized. So, I think it's as a manager and director and executive leader, you have to be okay with certain people having urgency around their work and then asking you or your team to do that. And you're like, that's a number 2 on my list of like 1,000 or 10 or whatever. So that, you think it's a 10, I think it's a 2. Where can we compromise and kind of meet in the middle? So as a leader too, it's setting those expectations for other people who are trying to like kind of break into that your team dynamic and say, I need this from you guys, and really protecting them. So yeah, my management system is being practical, working on a couple things every day, making sure those things are aligned with projects that I'm working on, and making sure those are my goal projects that I'm being evaluated on for my performance. All right. So, any more questions on Insta while I was preparing? I think so. All right. So I will just share what I'm currently working on in terms of the next videos to come out, and then we'll end this live. I like to keep it like a half hour to an hour on Sundays. So I am working on a video called like my top apps for productivity or keeping my work organized. It's definitely going to include Asana, and I'm going to include Microsoft Teams as well with like the project Kanban board. So I'm going to kind of show you how I use those and how I stay on top of it. And then I learned about a couple new apps today that I think I'm going to pilot and try out before I would recommend them to you. So I'm excited. I actually found a channel that shared some apps I've never heard of before. So I was like, awesome, because people tend to share the same ones. So I can't wait to share those with you. And then let me look in Asana. I know I had a couple other topics planned already on my editorial calendar. So started to plan in advance for videos, which is super helpful to me. And I've even made templates for all the things I need to do before I get a video out. So that's what an example of a system. Okay. Oh, so the other video topics I have planned are X tips, like how many tips to stop feeling overwhelmed at work. Your growth is not your manager's responsibility. I was kind of hoping that would be a little bit controversial. Real talk, how I do it as a mama and how I don't do it though. um, and then I think that is as far as I have planned for right now, but I have a huge idea list. So let me just read a few of these to you. The topic of just a lot of how does the leader do their leader standard work routines? What is leader standard work helps you to be prepared to be out of office? What to do if you're double booked, overbooked, triple booked on your calendar? Talking about why personal growth should go on your leader standard work. I have a lot of leader standard work topics. The 50% rule for meetings slash work time, deep work on strategy, strategic goals, projects, things like that. So I'm excited to keep editing for you. Let me know if you enjoy this new space. I'm loving the new setup that I have here. I think the lighting is just bomb. It's so much nicer. So I can't wait to get in front of you some more, make some more videos, and get some more YouTube shorts up as well, some short clips from the larger videos. So again, if you are interested in submitting a question for this Q&A, you can totally do it in real time. Join me, ask the question in the chat. Otherwise, you can hop on my website at kfaconsulting.org/free membership. Check it out. You just sign up. And then there's a Q&A form right there. Goes to my email, and then make sure I will get it. That way, you'll be sure to have your question answered while I'm on here. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Again, I challenge you, look at your to-do list, see what things are on here that only I can do, and the rest discern through the list and say, do these things need to get done at all? Truly, do they add no value or not? Or are they just busy work or nice things to do? And then think about who would be the right person to be doing those things if it's not you. All right. Okay. I love that. All right. Everybody have a wonderful Sunday and get some rest. Talk soon. Bye.